the future. So what's different now? I think there's a lot of answers to that, but the way we look at this in terms of races is that we've always talked about how important social connections and social networks, both online and in person, are for races. We used to have a presentation that we did on viral social marketing, and we will have to rename that before we do it again. But that concept is still true, that friends and family and connections really are the reason that people are doing races. With this, life has really moved online. Everyone is doing more and more things like symposiums online. So there's just a lot of action and activity online. So it's an easier place to reach people because they're there more often. Internet hits have been way up. Facebook usage has been way up because people are just there more. Along with that, whether there are formal social distancing regulations in place or just more limited travel and that kind of thing, people aren't seeing each other as much, and they still really want a way to connect. So they're looking for ways to do that don't put their health at risk. A lot of gyms are closed or people aren't comfortable going to them, so they're looking for more activities that they can stay active with that doesn't require them being in an enclosed facility. We've heard a lot of anecdotal evidence about new runners starting. It's hard to gauge this so far, but we've seen a lot of articles and just visually watching things of people who have been looking for something to do during this time and have taken up running and are really interested in finding a way to become more involved with it. Sensitive around advertising. A few weeks ago when we ran a group talking to race directors about some of the challenges that they were having, one of the big things that came up is that no one really even felt comfortable advertising because it's a sensitive time. People are concerned about other things and they didn't want to be seen as taking advantage of that or asking people for money when people were struggling financially. So there's been a lot of a push to kind of figure out new messaging and ways to advertise without putting people off. Facebook ad prices, there was a drop in Facebook ad prices in general after the coronavirus hit, mostly because Facebook ad numbers dropped. That does seem to be trending back up, but so far it looks like Facebook prices are still a little bit lower than normal, which makes it a little bit of a better value currently than you would necessarily always find. So with that, the first thing we're going to talk about is the social marketing concept. Most of that is online and how you can kind of use your internet connections to bring people together and get them to bring other runners along to your events. We spend a lot of time when we talk about Facebook or when we talk about social networks, talking about Facebook. There's a lot of value to things like Instagram and Twitter, but for events specifically, Facebook really is where we see the most value, and that's why we focus most of our attention there when we talk about marketing. There's 3 different kinds of activities that you can have on Facebook that you can use all 3 of them together to put together a really comprehensive strategy towards your marketing. The first one is going to be pages. This is your business page. It's when someone Googles you and puts in the word Facebook, this is what usually pops up. It's important because it's kind of your official permanent presence as a brand. You want to think of it as kind of like your website on Facebook. So you want to have official information there, things like your dates, how to reach you, keep all of your sources for news and updates there, and make it a place where people can come and find information about you if they've heard about your event and they want to hear more. The nice thing about pages is that it's a really easy way to do advertising as well. You can do it simply just through boosting a post on your page, or you can go into the ads manager and create standalone ads, but those all have to come from a page. You can't do those as an individual. You need to have a business page set up to do any sort of advertising like that. Events can be standalone, but the ideal way to do them is to build them, like you could set one up as an individual, but the ideal way to do one is to set one up as an event for your business page. That way, when people come to your business page, they can see all of the races and events coming up that you have. Events are temporary. They're going to be based on a specific date, so you can't have an event that lasts from now until next Christmas. They're created by your page, so they're linked to your page. So if someone finds the event instead of the page and wants to know more about the organization that's putting on that event, you can link them back to your page to find more information about you. I think it's important to note you're often going to want to duplicate important information between pages and events. If you have things like packet pickup information or virtual race submissions for results, you want to have that both on the page and on the event, because sometimes people will go to different places to look for information. And so key information you really do want to duplicate. There's not a lot of advertising you do with events, but you can advertise the event itself. So you can actually boost the event so people will see that it exists, and that can be a way to reach people directly through there. With groups, this is a lot of what we're going to talk about today. They're online communities. I think most people here are probably familiar with how a group works. It's essentially a group of people who can join in a private or a public way to talk about a topic that is specific to them. You can link that to your page as well. So what you can do is, just like you build the event off your page, you can create a group off of your page. And then from there, you're able to interact with people in that group as if you're your page. So that way people know that when you're answering a question, you're answering as the page and not as an individual person who they're not sure is affiliated with the event. Facebook pages, branding and ads. So most of the stuff we're talking about today is free. We're just going to touch a little bit on the concept of spending a little bit of money on Facebook ads. If you don't have much money to spend, Facebook ads are going to be the most effective way to spend some money. To get the most out of that, you really do want to focus on your graphics. It's important that you have a look and a brand that's consistent across your website and all of your social media. If you do not have access to a graphic designer, we recommend this in a lot of webinars. Canva is a great free tool. If you want to pay a small amount, it's about $12 a month. You can have access to a lot more graphics and photos and things like that as well. And you can use that really to make yourself look a little bit more professional and more like you have a graphic designer than you might be able to if you don't have one on staff. When you're doing ads on Facebook through Facebook pages, it's important to drive your traffic to your registration site, or at least your website, and not to your Facebook page. Facebook often wants you to set up ads that will take people to your Facebook page so you'll get more likes. And while likes are nice, it's more valuable to have people immediately find your information about your event and how to register, because Facebook's algorithms mean that the number of people who like your pages doesn't necessarily drive up the number of people who see your content that much anyways. So it's more valuable for you to get them into the event than for you to get them to like your Facebook page. And you can always remind them later to go back and remind to like your Facebook page. If you're gonna do any kind of advertising, it's really, really important to use a reason for them to actually follow through. So a coupon code or a time limited deal, some sort of reason for them to go through the process right now. If you don't do that, people tend to procrastinate, think maybe I'll come back and look at this event again, and then they may or may not actually do so. A couple of quick best practices for Facebook ads. You want to think about your audience, and I think you may want to think about this differently now than you did with standard events a while ago. If your event is location specific, either if it's a modified in-person event or if you have a virtual event that is tied to a community that has maybe a really cool Race Joy course that is in an actual specific city or town, or you're supporting a really local cause, then you may actually just want to advertising to people within that region and really target on that. It's always really important and useful to use targeted lists of people who know you and are familiar with you and trust your events. You can download custom reports for the promotion and Facebook custom audiences, and those will give you lists that Facebook can automatically use to match participants who've done your events before and reach out to them, advertise specifically to them, or to create a lookalike audience, which is Facebook users who are very similar to people who've done your races before and therefore may also be interested in doing your races again. And if you use those lists to target people, you can reach people who already know and are familiar with your events. Similarly, you can actually build a really custom list from your CRM. This is really probably only going to be useful if you have a large enough list to reach a lot of people, but you can do that on your dashboard. If you go to CRM, you can actually pull a list that shows specifically participants who registered last year from Facebook. and you can actually advertise specifically to those people because you know they're people who are likely to be active on Facebook. And some of this, I'm not going to go through the super detailed method to get to all of this, but when we send out follow-up information on Friday, I will make sure that you guys have the really specific pathways to get to the CRM list there. If you're brand new to Facebook advertising, you have no idea what you're doing, the two easiest ways to do that are just to boost a post. You'll see that button come up on your page, and you can just pay basically for Facebook to show it to more people. You can still put in who you want to show it to and that kind of thing, but you can do it pretty quickly and easily there. If you are a more advanced user, you have an ads campaign, an ads manager campaign set up, then you can actually create a whole ad in there that can be a little bit more custom, and you can have some more granular selections about what kinds of places you want to show your ads, whether you want to show them only on Facebook, or if you want to show them on Instagram, or throughout some of their other places on their network. One other thing to keep in mind if you are using Ads Manager is you can actually view, you can actually turn on or off either mobile or desktop. So take a look at what's doing better, and you may want to see if, if registrations are always coming from desktop, that you may not want to run your mobile ads. The key to Facebook or events is really just getting on a calendar. People rely strongly on their calendars. That's how they kind of organize their lives. And right now, there's not a lot on a calendar, so there's a lot of room for your event. If you have a partner in your event, whether that's someone else, another organization that's helping put it on, or a charity partner, it's really helpful to add them as a co-host, add their Facebook page as a co-host to the event, because that way it will also show up on the calendar for that organization. And if you are organizing a run for an arboretum, you may have people who have never seen your run before but are interested in the arboretum. They go to their page, they see the event, and they think, hey, I could do a 5K, I'd like to support this cause. And you'll find new people and kind of branch out there. Another place that you can look for other co-hosts for similar reasons is to take a look at, if you have sponsors, ask them to co-host your event so that the people that they are interacting with also have access to the event. Events are just nice because it helps people to share information with their friends. They don't have to remember all the details. They can just send an event straight from Facebook to a friend and say, hey, come do this with me. Invite them directly, and it goes straight on that person's calendar. Side note about calendars, this is really kind of a detour, but I couldn't not say it. Like I said, calendars in general are empty right now. If you take a look at local media, there are desperately trying to find events, and that definitely includes virtual events that people can do right now. So send your information to local media, see if they can promote your event for you. You can also reach out to event aggregators. There are some paid ones, there are free ones. Anywhere that there is an event calendar, if there's a way to get yourself added to that calendar, it's just more exposure for your event. Facebook groups. So the reason that we like Facebook groups is that they are more trustworthy. Facebook's algorithm really prioritizes groups now because people like seeing that content. It's warm and fuzzy content. And so, when you post things in a group, or when posts are made in a group, they're going to show up a lot more prominently than the posts that you make on your page or in an event. People will see them more. There are no ads that are shown to people in groups, which if you're wanting to advertise might seem like a negative, but I think it's really a positive because it makes it a more trusted space. It feels like community and not like people are being advertised to. So people are more honest and engage more within the group than they do in a general Facebook space. Yeah, with that, generally people are more open to engagement and conversation. When you have a group that is active, the group is essentially marketing things for you because they are talking to each other, which again, people trust more than an event saying we're great. They trust other people saying this event is great. What's nice is, especially when you guys are putting together virtual events, a group is a place where people all over the country can come together. And it really brings them together in a way that other types of communities don't. It keeps people engaged for a longer period of time. An event, you'll see posting in it right right around when it's happening. A Facebook group may have engagement all year long while people are getting ready for the event, during the event, after the event, when they're getting ready for other things. People really build longer relationships with that. If you have people, especially if you have people from all over the place, you really want to encourage people to share photos and stories from their local communities. I think it's a really neat way to bring people together from around the world by saying, hey, we're all doing this event, but look, I'm in Florida and I'm in Ireland and I'm in Tennessee, and here's what all of our separate runs look like. There's two ways to run groups. You can have them as either public or private. If you have a really tight-knit group, there's some benefits to private because it means people can be more comfortable sharing. If you're really using it for marketing, I think a public group can be a lot more successful because other people will start to see the posts and can see what's going on in the group and really wants to be a part of it. The two different ways that you would build groups, it doesn't really make sense to have a group that is only operational for a week because there's no long-term engagement for people. So the two kind of main ways that we see them working is for a one-time event, not having a group specifically for the event, but having it for a training program and an event and kind of a year-long process to get ready to the event, or a race management company or similar race series that has all of the groups together as one group. So they're under the umbrella of whatever the company is, and that way they can share events across the time throughout the year and continue to get people engaged, finish up sharing one event and then they move on to the next one. The other is that for long-term challenges or virtual events that have maybe a series of events with themselves, then you can have an event specifically for them. If you're going to do that, you really want to encourage people to post throughout. You want to put them to post milestones that they're finishing, not just the day that they finish, because again, that's a one-day engagement. You want to say, how did your training go today? How was first run? How was second run? And again, prompting. Any photos are super popular. People are excited to see them. So anything that you can do to encourage people to share photos is great. A few just quick tips for success with groups. You're the leader of this group, your organization, you as a person. You can sound like a person, keep it personal, keep your message true to yourself. People really respond to that. They really do recognize when you're a person there, and it actually helps you when you have to do things like cancel a race, that people feel like they know you and they respect you. I'm in several different running groups for local timing company, a challenge that I'm in, a local race management company, and with all of them, the fact that those organizers regularly post as people really does mean that when something goes wrong with their events, everyone feels like it's a friend of theirs who's canceling, and that can really actually help you out in the long term. Videos are great. Similarly, if you want people to know you, shoot a fun video that includes you, and that that can be a good introduction to you, and it also can help encourage some of your other users to shoot fun videos and keep the group active. You want to promote the group in any emails, any type of sort of marketing that you do so that people know to join the group. They know that it's a place to come. Having a big group is good, but it's better to have an active group. So if your group is small, but they're posting every day, that's more valuable to you because those are people who are really engaged with your event and are more likely to start bringing other people in. Keep focusing on the engagement and encourage them to bring their friends with them. You will probably have to moderate some. Moderating is not fun for anyone. I think the main rule that we would use is moderate for positivity. People really come to these groups for encouragement and to be told that they're going to be able to finish. So focus on that kind of messaging. Pictures are really popular. Third time. A large event may be able to sustain its own group. If you have smaller events that you want, you should bundle them together and try to kind of grow them over time. If you want to learn some more too, the Race Directors HQ, which is a website with a whole lot of resources for race directors, they have a bunch of courses that normally there is a membership charge for. They are free right now, so you can actually check out their Facebook groups for marketing course now at this point for free. Just a couple of pictures that I pulled from a few groups, I think, as a sample of how interactive these groups can be. This one here is a woman who is in the middle of her race and talking about struggling to get through or challenge. And 337 comments really shows that people want to hear, are excited to hear from each other. You have people who are showing that they're finishing. You also have newer runners who really want encouragement. And so having a place for them to come on and say, hey, this is hard. What does everyone else think? It makes them feel like they can get through it. It also makes more experienced runners get to feel like a little bit of an expert because they can help them out. Taking groups offline. This is the non-Facebook method of it. It's a standard setup in RunSignup. It's participants, groups, teams, and setup. You might wonder why you would have groups if nobody's showing up. Normally there's a competitive group or there is some sort of interaction that happens with groups. With groups and teams for a virtual race, it's really just, again, another way for people to connect. I checked out what our numbers have looked like, and pre-coronavirus, we had about 30% of participants would join a team when they were available. The same has held true since then when most events have gone virtual. It tells you people are still looking for a way to compete with their friends, even if they aren't with their friends. A couple of reasons that you can use them now is it can give people an opportunity to have a group activity, like everyone creates the shirt with their team name on it. You can have friends and family members who would normally be together more and can't travel right now have a way to interact. They can check in online before they go out for a run and pretend like they've all been out running together. If you're in an area that has some safe group sizes and you have some, then they may be able to actually have a 5-person celebration and might give them a reason to come together and do something around the race. And just simply, people are lazy, and having other friends who are doing things with them makes them more likely to actually want to finish the race. If you're going to do groups, a great way to really encourage people is to set up an automatic discount. You can do that so that when your group hits a certain size, everyone after that gets a cheaper price, and the participants who had already registered get automatically refunded the discount amount. It's just an extra way to encourage people to actually take advantage of the groups. We think people have a lot more fun and enjoy your event more when they're in a group. So it's kind of a win-win if they are bringing people in and they're going to have more fun. And I think we're going to hand it over to Natalie.
There we go. Okay, can you hear me? Thumbs up. Cool. All right. So we've done quite a few presentations on referral rewards and swag rewards before, and I usually get really, really excited. But with everything that's been going on and the numbers that we're seeing, I'm even more excited. So I apologize if I'm super nerdy, but here we go. So in 2018, we declared that 100% of RunSignup employees recommend that everyone use referral rewards for their races, whether it be a traditional race or a virtual race. And now 100% of RunSignup employees still recommend that everyone should be using referral rewards. And the numbers kind of speak for themselves. So with referral rewards, usually there's been a huge virtual and social media component to it. With everything that's going on with COVID, referral rewards have become pretty much exponential. As you can see from the numbers, they're about 4 times higher than they were just a year ago. So what we're seeing for all of the virtual, actually all races on RunSignup, is 23% of registrations are coming from referrals. So from races that have turned on the referral programs and are using the other tools in RunSignup to promote these programs. So next slide, please. Cool. So virtual races have a huge social component to them. It's always kind of, virtual races have always kind of been something that people would do on their own with a small group of friends and family. With everything that's happened with COVID, the whole do something together from anywhere makes more sense. So it's kind of helped referrals and go very, very viral, just like everything else on social media. So a lot of races that we're seeing, they're promoting virtual, what's happening? Like run together virtually, run on FaceTime, celebrate on Zoom, do a virtual happy hour. So it's really helped people connect on social media so that when I register, I can refer my friends and family. We run virtually together in totally different places, and then we celebrate together afterwards. Next. Okay, so how to promote your referral programs. Your participants are the most effective advocates for your race, especially with virtual races, because if I sign up to do something on my own, I am motivated to get my friends and family to also do it on their own, but then we can celebrate together. So use the Referral Rewards and Swag Reward programs and features on RunSignup to help incentivize your participants to refer their friends and family to help grow your race. We have quite a few different tools that you can use for these programs. We have referral refunds, referral swag, and then recognition. So what we see as the most effective referral setup is when the programs are set up as high threshold, high reward. And what that means is setting something up like refer 5 friends and you'll get a refund of a registration fee. That is going to encourage people who registered to refer more people to your race. And it also, they have to do more before they get something back. If you're doing a 1-to-1 ratio, for every person you refer, you get $3 back. There's a few different things. When people see a pop-up, do you want $3 back? That's not going to motivate as many people to take the time to stop and share on their Facebook feed. But if they see a number like, do you want $25 back? People will take the time to stop and read it and share it. So that higher threshold and higher reward, it actually is a lot better for your race because not everyone can hit that threshold of 5. For the people that can hit the threshold of 5, that means they have a lot of friends or they're super aggressive on social media and they're good at getting people to do what they want. So they're good at referring friends. So you don't want to stop at 5. You don't want to stop at 1 tier because those are the people that can refer more people to your race. So that's when we recommend adding tiers in addition to the referral refunds. So what we're seeing is, like the screenshot says, refer 5 friends, get money back, refer 10 friends, get something else, refer 20 friends, get something else. That way, after someone receives their refund, if they hit 5 referrals, they will continue to share because they want to earn additional rewards. Next. Okay, so referral best practices. So first and foremost, social sharing. So on the back end of RunSignup, under promotion, social sharing, there you can customize the text. So there's 3 different things you can customize. One, when someone completes a registration, there's a pop-up that appears prompting them to share that they have registered and post their unique referral link on Facebook. You can also customize, once I share and post on my Facebook page, you can customize the image that displays as well as the text that displays underneath that image. So we always say that your social sharing images should be of smiling, happy people, which has been a little bit different with everything that's happened with COVID. Can't really post a group of people celebrating and running together, but you can get creative. You can post pictures of people running together but far apart, or just pictures of the swag or beautiful scenery, something that's different, something that will stand out so that when Natalie shares and posts to her Facebook feed, a nice image with catchy text will appear so that when Johanna is scrolling through her feed, she will stop and actually look at that post. And you can also customize the text that appears in the confirmation email. So the next thing, keep it simple. So in the previous slide, we recommended something like 3 tiers. We usually find that 3 tiers is enough. If you have to write a novel or add a whole custom section that has 2 pages of text to explain what your referral program is, it's probably not going to be successful, because if it takes you that long to explain it, people aren't going to understand it. And if people don't understand it, they won't take the time to do it. So make it really simple, something that people can see and understand very quickly. Girl power. So over 70% of all referrers are female. So if you are doing referral swag, make it something that's gender appropriate, something that is going to appeal to both genders. And registration follow-up email. So we'll be covering that next, but all of the races that are having true success with their referral programs on RunSignup are using registration follow-up emails to promote them. So we'll cover that in the next few slides, but it's definitely a must if you're building out a referral program. And then promote early and often. It's another reason why the registration follow-up emails are so important. When someone registers for your race, they're usually the most excited about it and telling people about it right after they register and right before the race happens. So right after they register, they're excited that they've registered. They're trying to get people to register with them. That's far enough out where friends and family can still join. When they're telling people about it when it's close to the race, that's a little bit harder to get people to join with it coming up so quickly. So registration follow-up emails are helpful there because you can set them to go out a set number of days after people register. And then exclusivity. So if you're using swag rewards, we see a lot of success when people are offering like a limited edition hoodie or a limited edition, I don't know, hat, something that people can only get and earn if they refer their friends. If it's something that they can just buy during the registration process, people usually aren't motivated to do that, because why would I take the time and effort to refer 20 people when I could just buy the same hat for $15? So just something to keep in mind. Next. Okay, so kind of just recapping what we've just talked about, but referral refunds, every race, virtual or traditional, should use referral refunds. I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Swag rewards, it just helps the people. So 2 years ago, I used to say very few people actually take the time to refer. It was like 6 to 10% of referral codes actually had activity on them. Now that everyone is social distancing, there's a lot more activity on referral codes because people are bored. So more people are sharing than they were 2 years ago. So swag rewards become really important because people want to earn more free things. Make sure to customize your social sharing settings. If you don't use a custom social sharing image, then when someone posts to Facebook, only the race logo will appear, which isn't as effective unless you're a really prestigious race where people know your logo and they know your race the second they see it. And yep, we'll cover registration follow-up emails next. Okay, so why should you use registration follow-up emails or emails in general? So Emails can be personalized. We have a list of, I think, 40. I think we added more, so it's probably 44 now. 44 different email marketing replacement tags that you can place into emails that you send from RunSignup. Those tags integrate directly with your participant database, so it allows for detailed customization of emails that you can send to your registrants or past participants. But with registration follow-up emails, they're helpful so that you can reinforce your desired actions. You can make a specific email. Hey, Natalie, thanks for registering for Scott Coffee. Don't forget, if you refer 5 people, you can get $25 back. Here's your unique referral link that you can share with your friends and family members so that you can earn this reward. And with emails that are sent through RunSignup, they're very easy to track through our RaceInsights dashboard. So right on the Race dashboard, you can track the number of page views and the number of conversions that come directly from a specific email. And then, just like everyone is spending more time on social media, people are actually taking the time to read emails more now. So globally, email opens have increased 6 to 10% since March 2020, and the clicks have actually jumped to 20 to 24%. So now is a great time for emails, at least. Okay, so we have quite a few different automated emails that you can turn on in your race. Incomplete registrations, so remind people who dropped out of the registration process to come back and complete their registration. These lists are dynamic, so we are going to cross-reference the incomplete registration report with your current participant list before those emails go out each day. So you don't have to worry about people who actually are registered getting the incomplete registration email. We also have RaceJoy automated emails that you can turn on. So reminding people to get their friends and family to engage with RaceJoy. Price increase emails. So something that repeat races are usually doing anyway. The screen's going a little bit crazy, sorry. So with our price increase emails, you can upload past participant lists, or if you are a repeat race and you already have your repeat participant data in there because you renewed the race, before each price increase, we will automatically look at your past participant list and exclude people who have already registered. So just to remind people that a price increase is coming up, make sure to register, make sure to tell your friends. And then the registration follow-up emails, which we just covered, and we have sponsor offer emails, so which serve as a goodie bag type of feature. And we kind of covered some of this, but with the incomplete registration emails and registration follow-up emails, there's 2 different types. So you can do a set number of, with incomplete registration emails, you can do a set number of days after someone drops out of the registration process. You can set up more than one. With registration follow-up emails, you can do a set number of days after someone registers. You also can do more than one. You can also set these up to go out on specific dates and times. But we don't recommend just going in and setting up a ton of emails at random intervals. Plan out what you want to market. Make sure to keep your messaging clear and concise. And then don't send too many emails. I usually always recommend sending more than one, but I do work with a few races that have 12 or 15 registration follow-up emails set up, and that's a little bit too much, and they get complaints about spam, so just be conscious of that. And then just some examples of messaging for registration follow-up emails. So you can see that the first email, this would come to, "Hi Natalie, make race day even more fun." And then at the bottom, registration referral code link. That tab would actually populate my unique referral link that I could share with my friends and family. So everyone would get an email with their exact referral link. And then the next one is a sample registration follow-up email that would actually populate someone's fundraising page link. So if you do have donations and fundraising turned on in your race, I highly recommend that you use registration follow-up emails for that, especially with tips and tricks for fundraising and recruiting donations along the way, just to keep the momentum going for your fundraisers. And I'll pass it back.
All right. So just quickly, because I think we're going to have pretty close to the end of time here. I know there's a lot of questions coming through that if we do not get to them today, the chat will be saved, and we will make sure that we follow up with you later this week to help go through some of this again. A lot of things we're talking about a lot of things very quickly and without a lot of detail, so we can get you guys some more detail as well. This is just kind of a quick look at ways to evaluate whether or not those referral rewards, the email campaigns, etc., are actually successful for your race. Like Natalie said when she was talking about the emails, your RaceInsights Analytics is this little chart that comes up on your dashboard right when you open your registration or your dashboard. It's customizable, so you can actually pick which things you want to see. If you have donations and you want to see those, you can put them on the chart. You can also take those off. You can use that little pencil that's right next to the donations box to do that, to actually turn on or off what you see up there. The quick look at this is it's basically like a Google Analytics that's simplified specifically for the information you need for races. So it's really looking at exactly what your signups, donations, transactions, and page views are just for your race there. And you can come down here where the sources are. Email is going to show you any of the emails that come from the RunSignup system. So that includes the automated emails as well as anything else you send out of a RunSignup system. It may also say email from another race, and that can be someone else who sent out your email as a link. You won't get more information about what that email was then, because it's not one that's owned by the race. Referral sources, I'm going to show you some more on the next page. So this gets a little blurry when I blow it up, but it's basically where all of the people came to your race that were not from email or from a custom source. I'll get to custom sources in a minute. Google, Facebook, RunSignup, a calendar. It's a good way to just see where people generally come to your race from. One thing that I like to point out is that there is an M Facebook and a Facebook. That M Facebook is the mobile version of Facebook. So that's a good way to see whether or not you're getting interaction with your race from mobile Facebook or if people are using it on their desktop. One other quick caveat here is that if you have another website that you're driving traffic to first, so if you have a non-run sign up website and you send people there before they get to your registration site, there will be some undercounting here because it'll show those sources as coming directly from your website instead of from Facebook or the email or whatever that you directed them to that website from. So you'll want to keep it as a little bit of a holistic view of where things are coming from. This ties to what Natalie was talking about with any of the automated emails. This is how it's going to show up in your system. So when you open that email tab, it'll show you exactly what came from where. This is clearly a list of emails from the symposium that are very logistical based, so you don't see a lot of signups from them. But what you want to see on them then is that people actually read them, and you can tell that right on the page there. So this is what I really want to talk about is the custom source tracking, and it's kind of like my favorite marketing tool that we have for people who are not professional marketers, because I think every time I bring it up, I've done a few presentations that cover it, people feel overwhelmed and feel like it's something that is over their head. And it's super simple and easy, and it can make a really big difference for you if you're trying to figure out what's working and what's not. So the basics of what you're going to do is you're just going to go on your dashboard to promotion, source tracking codes. And then you're going to click that button that says add a code. When you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to have a unique link created that will also go to your registration page, but that is different from just sending people directly to your registration page. And so you can use that link and share that for specific things. So if you create a Facebook ad, you can use that link instead of your normal link. Or if you have a sponsor who's sending out an email to their network, you could have them use a specific link so you'll know exactly how many people came from that sponsor email. Once you've set up the code, it's just going to show up like this little chart here. You'll always be able to come back in, click on the little link button there, and access the link again if you want to use the same custom source for another activity. If you want to get really granular, you can actually put in, if you're using it for an ad, you can put in how much money you spent on the ad so that you can actually see how much money was brought in registrations from that spend of ad. You don't have to do that. The spend column is totally optional. You can leave that blank, but it is a good way to kind of keep everything in one place if you want to really track exactly what's coming to you from Facebook. A couple of things that you might want to use one for, like I said, any sort of Facebook ads or posts, if you want to see how they're doing. Facebook has its own metrics. They tend to overestimate things in terms of views and what they count as people interacting. I think for most events, the most important thing is getting people to register or donate, depending on what your main focus is. And with that, you can really see exactly how many registrations came from it, not just how many people saw your message. It's great for sponsor support or any sort of a local gym or any sort of business that wants to support your event. It gives you a way to see how many people come from them. You can also use that if you want to have a program like for a local company to be able to become a sponsor of your event. If they can, say, get 200 people to register, you can actually make sure they use that link, and then you can come back and say, okay, you guys hit your 200. You can also use it if you're sending emails that are not from the RunSignup system. They don't show up in that nice clean email report. So you can tag one with, this is my MailChimp email on June 20th, and that way you know what those looked like. When you come in, this was a race that did a really nice job of really tracking all of their custom sources. When you come back in to see them, you can see how everyone has it labeled clearly. You can see exactly what the impact was from each one. And what you can really do is, if you have 2 different emails that you've been sending for marketing, you can actually send 2 different emails out, see which one shows up better here, who's responding, which one people are responding to more, and use the one that's doing better moving forward. And that allows you to kind of narrow down the most efficient marketing that you have. This isn't the only method for tracking things. It's the one that we wanted to focus on today because it's quick and easy for you to get to, but a couple of other places that you guys can look to find some reporting to figure out how your marketing is going. On RunSignup, if you go to your email marketing section of your dashboard, just go to email reports and the send grid reports there. That won't show you the same kind of granular detail in terms of each email, but what it does show you really clearly is how many people are clicking on things, what type of real interaction you're getting. So that can be a quick look just to see at how your emails are generally doing. To go back to Natalie's referrals, you can actually get a really quick, easy report of how your referral program is going, just a promotion, referral tracking, and refund report. And then you can, we usually encourage a lot of looking at previous participants, trying to build loyalty for people who've come before. And on your dashboard, if you just change that to promotion, and you can look at the loyalty report, and that'll show you how many people have registered for your race who've done your race before. It also gives you a download of how many people have done your race before that have not registered yet. And that can be a really good way to find people who may be interested in your event but have forgotten about you and reach out to them specifically. Sources off of RunSignup, like I said, Facebook has insights built into their pages. If you have an ads manager, you can get a little bit more granular in terms of the detail on those ads. You can use Google Analytics. There is also a Google Analytics that shows up on your dashboard for your website. But if you have a website that's off of RunSignup, you can just set up Google Analytics to use there. If you have a separate email marketing platform, similarly, anything like MailChimp will have built-in analytics there, and same thing with Instagram. I think that's it, except that is not my name.
Do you guys want to save questions?
If we have a few, if Herman has 2 or 3 that we have a little bit of time, we can try to get through a few.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get myself off mute. One of the questions is, if you have a series of repeating races, would it be better to create one event for the whole series, a unique event for each race, or both?
I think, so there is a limit to how long you can have a time range for an event. So if it's a series of events, unless it's a short series over like 2 weeks, you actually won't be able to do one that encompasses the entire time range. So in that context, I think it'd probably be better to have a separate one for each event, but then also make sure that you have all of them connected to your Facebook page and that you're sharing them, together as a group.
Hi, our nonprofit is looking to engage and work with other races. What's the best way for us to reach out and find race directors who want to work with a nonprofit?
That's a great question. Natalie, if you have any other ideas, let me know. But I would say, honestly, nothing super high tech. Go to a RunSignup calendar, go to a Running in USA calendar, find races that are in your area, and email the race directors. Reach out, send them information about your cause and why it's a good cause, and do your homework to make sure that it isn't a race that has a competing cause already. But I really think just being proactive and reaching out to people.
Am I muted?
No, you're good.
Okay. So I haven't been on the race director side of things in about 9 years, so I could be totally wrong here, but back in the day when I used to produce races, we would pick charity partners. A lot of charity partners would approach us, just, we want to be your charity, what can you do for us? So it was always important to us to flip that mentality. Like, if you're reaching out to races, tell them what you can offer them, how you will help market their race, if you can bring volunteers to the race. So my recommendation there is, when you're reaching out to races, do it from the mentality of building a partnership and let them know how you can help their race, not just asking them to help you. So that's a good starting point, in my opinion.
How does the referral information determine where they came from?
You're gonna have to ask Matmo that. We have a developer who put that together. It is tracking essentially everyone who's coming to the site. It pulls tracking information essentially the same way that Google Analytics does. I can't give you a much more technical answer because I did not build it.
I can jump in.
Sure.
If you want. So this is Eric Cohn. I'm a VP with RunSignup. So basically, when you browse around on the internet using a browser, the browser keeps track of the last web page that you visited. So when someone visits from Facebook, we record the page that they came from into the analytics engine. So what this does is it allows us to go, hey, these are where the people came from. So a common question could be that, let's say that you have a journey that people go along and they visited your webpage first from a friend's email, and then they came back on Facebook. We're going to record that they came back on Facebook and signed up. We will not show that they came from their friend's email first. So it's the last referral that they came in on that counts.
can do one more, Herman.
Okay. This is a Facebook related question. If we are putting multiple events on throughout the year, would we have a group for each event?
I would recommend that you have one group for all, unless they are very, very large events. Unless you're talking about a 30,000 person event, I think it's more useful to do one event or one group that you bring everyone into, because then you're getting them engaged and you're also getting them excited about the next event because people start talking about what else is going on.
Great. Thank you so much, Johanna and Natalie. I would like to remind everyone at 2:30 p.m. today Eastern Time, we have 2 great sessions in store. Enhanced Virtual Results, which is race setup and participant view with Matt Sinclair, and Giving Tuesday donation campaigns with Allison Bickle. You can find the links to these sessions in your inbox from this morning. These sessions will also be recorded should you not be able to make them. Thanks, and see you later.